Well, the path to Naples has gotten a little bit shorter for the 8 quarterfinalists that are on their way to Southwest Florida. Hi, everyone. I'm Neil Sika. Welcome into our Jersey studios as we continue on the path to Naples. 8 sixth grade teams remain, and they'll play in Southwest Florida on December 17th in the quarterfinals. A couple of new faces will be present, as well as some old staples. As we tell you about the matchups, we'll have Alan Popadines also joining us as well, the National Scouting Director of Youth1.com, to give his insight and analysis on who might play in that semifinal matchup, as well as the championship and his title-winning pick. But without further ado, here are the matchups in 6th grade as we look at these quarterfinals on December 17th. Dade County, who was the sleeper pick of Pops, will play Maryland, his #1 selection. And they will face off. Usually, of course, we'll see a Northeast team play a team out of the South Regional, and that is the case here as they will play in the first quarterfinal. They'll get the winner of Bay Area Metro and Seattle. Bay Area Metro is a team that has put up a lot of points. They are the #2 pick of Pops. They'll face #1 Seattle, who has been doing it with a lot of speed and offensive weapons. On the other side of the quarterfinals, you get South Dakota making a name for themselves as they come down unranked and will play GFL, their first group of underclassmen that have made it this far. Usually we're talking about the 8th graders, but it's the GFL 6th taking on South Dakota. They'll get the winner of Massachusetts and Dallas Metro, two teams that have proved their youth programs have been very solid over the course of the last 3 years. Dallas Metro, the #3 selection in the Midwest, and Pops had Massachusetts at #2. Speaking of the man who made those picks, he's on the other side of the break as we'll continue on our path to Naples to break down the 6th grade quarterfinals.
You can ask any coach, player, or fan. Before the beaches, the golf courses, the sunsets, Florida is known for football. But in Naples, Marco Island, you get them all. With the facilities and accommodations perfect for your off-season training, tournament, or event. Florida's Paradise Coast is Florida's sports paradise.
The best youth football players in the country are at Youth1.com. Youth1.com has the Elite 101 report of the nation's top 101 players, the Freshman 450, rankings, recaps, and news for football and all youth sports. And now anyone can create an athlete profile and share their stats, videos, and skills with the world. Whether you want to be the best or see the best, go to Youth1.com, celebrating the best of youth sports.
The Path to Naples is brought to you by the Naples, Marco Island, and Everglades Convention and Visitors Bureau. Also by Battle Sports Science and Youth One. Welcome back on the Path to Naples 2016 FBU National Championship, the 6th grade quarterfinals. That's what we're talking about today. And joining us via Skype from State College, Pennsylvania, is Youth1.com's National Scouting Director, Alan Popadines. Pops, you're puffing out your chest. I know you're feeling pretty good about your picks over the course of this tournament.
Yeah, it's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it.
Well, let's start in 6th grade. A modest 2 #1 picks that make it down here. We'll get to the 7th and 8th graders for later shows, but I want to get your overall thoughts on the 6th grade tournament so far, and we see a couple of new faces make their way down and some faces we've seen before.
Right, and I think that's what makes this 6th grade level cool, because we have the traditional powerhouses that have made it down, the Massachusetts that are here, the Florida teams, the Maryland. But then also we have some new teams, South Dakota. Who would have ever thought in a million years that we'd be talking about South Dakota down in the final 8 teams of the entire country? That's what's cool about this 6th grade level. You never know what you're going to get, really.
We'll get to South Dakota in just a bit, but we're going to start with this first quarterfinal matchup. Dade against Maryland. Dade you had as your sleeper, Maryland as your #1. A Maryland team that has been battle-tested but closed out some close games.
Yeah, absolutely. They've really, we're used to these Maryland teams just kind of steamrolling and winning, by multiple touchdowns. This 6th grade team has really been in some dogfights, and they've come through, and they're more battle-tested than teams have been in the past.
Jamari Somerville's had a nice tournament so far, as has Christian Rawlings.
Yeah, those were two names that we pointed out in the preview shows of kids to watch, and they've made us look good. With Somerville, here's a kid who's at linebacker who's just all over the field. If you had the opportunity to watch on FBUNC.com on round 3 when the games were streaming, you saw him fly around the field and make a ton of tackles. And in Rawlings, he's that workhorse. He's been the guy that's gotten the ball time and time again when Maryland needs a first down, when Maryland needs a burst of energy. He's been their go-to guy.
Well, there's been a burst of energy on the Dade side of things. We know they have a lot of speed, and a guy like Asa Locks, who's been a shutdown corner, is going to have to be on the ready in that quarterfinal game.
Yeah, how cool of a name is Asa Locks for a cornerback? Little lock down there, little Asa Island. Pretty cool name for a corner, and he's been doing that. You know, the 6th grade level, there's not as much passing as there is on the 7th and 8th grade level, but Locks has made the most of the passes thrown in his direction. Had a pick 6 in the first round. Does a really nice job outside by himself most of the time.
All right, early thoughts on this one, Dade versus Maryland. Who do you like?
It's going to be a good one. You know, Maryland, as we said, is battle-tested. Dade has looked convincing in their victories. I'm going to go with the battle-tested Maryland on this one just because they've been through some battles. And down in Naples, you know, every team down there is good. There's going to be no blowout.
All right, good stuff. That's Dade and Maryland in the 1 quarterfinal. The 2nd quarterfinal, which will pit the winner of Dade, Maryland, will be Bay Area Metro and Seattle. You had Bay Area Metro as your 2 pick in the West, Seattle as your 1. Bay Area Metro team is scoring a ton of points. 86-14, they have outscored their opponents.
Yeah, you know, they say defense wins championships, and that might be true. But offense puts butts in the seats. Yeah. 86 points in their first couple games. That's impressive. Holding opponents to 14 is also impressive, but 86, that's a lot of points to put on the board.
Well, Terrence Allen has been the star of this group so far.
Yeah, he's a kid that we mentioned in the preview show as the kid to watch for this team. And again, he's made us look good. He returns from last year's team. He played as a 5th grader. And this year, so far, 750 yards, give or take, and 7 touchdowns this far. Not too shabby numbers.
Do you want me to introduce the term, or do you want to coin the term Stallings Island?
Hey, no, that's all you. But Will Stallings, nice-looking cornerback for this Bay Area team. You don't hold opponents to 14 points without some good play on the outside and in the secondary, and that's what they're getting from him.
Well, they're going to need good defensive line play, and they've got it from several individuals.
Yeah, Rojo, Walls, Thompson, they make that D-line. You know, a lot of time on the 6th grade level, as I previously mentioned, there's not as much passing. So it's your traditional run plays, your sweeps, your plays up the gut. These guys are shutting that down. I can't emphasize that enough. They're really playing well on that D-line. And one of the bigger reasons they have made it this far.
Well, they see Seattle. This is a fast, athletic team. I know you slouched on the 6th graders last year, but not this time around, this group. And boy, you look at Taven Bond and what he's done with 5 touchdowns in the tournament so far. Jabari Johnson, great quarterback on this Seattle 6th grade group.
I've been waiting all show to say this, but Bond, Taven Bond, the kid is unbelievable, running all over the place.
You have the turn. That's nice.
Yeah, thank you very much. I come up with this stuff in my sleep. But he's had a great tournament running the ball. Jabari is, I think, the next breakout star of this tournament. Only 2 touchdowns so far on the ground, but a bunch passing. The kid is dual threat. I'm telling you, give him 2 years. He's going to be a kid we're talking about maybe some early college offers.
Fun name and a fun tournament for Leo Pulalasi so far.
Yeah, another athlete that we mentioned in the preview shows. This kid is all about speed. Played last year as a 5th grader, back now as a 6th grader. He's gotten 3 2-point conversions for this squad so far, and also a ton of plays in special teams. So you need some quickness. He's your guy.
All right, Pops, who has the edge right now, Bay Area Metro or Seattle in this quarterfinal?
I'm going to go with Seattle. I think they have some great size, and, I mean, not taking much away from Bay Area at all. I just think Seattle's got more athletes in key places. They have some experience. I think Seattle takes that one.
All right. Let's look at the other 2 matchups now. South Dakota, what a feel-good story for these kids. Unranked by you, and I don't think anyone might have had them on the radar. but they make their way down to Southwest Florida. They play GFL. We're used to seeing the 8th grade GFL teams, and I know they lost a close game to Broward County, but these 6th graders, first time the underclassmen have emerged, very, very intriguing matchup.
You know, I'm sure this is going to make Eric Richards upset, but I'm trying not to, but I'm finding myself rooting for South Dakota, just because, as you mentioned, nobody thought they would be here, including me. They're a program second year in the tournament, really making strides. And you think about it, GFL, a lot of good athletes condensed in one area. South Dakota, they're from all over that state. And for South Dakota to be down there and in this thing, I can't help but find myself rooting for them a little bit.
And their best player is a 5th grader in Manny Schmaus.
Yeah, 6 touchdowns in 2 games as a 5th grader, proving that this stage is not too big for him. I mean, he's doing it offensively, running the ball. Defensively, he's getting a ton of interceptions. And in special teams, he's their key return guy. He is really, really impressed so far.
Well, it's nice on defense. They have the likes of Tanner Myers, Hadley Wallace, as we're learning some names that have starred for this team.
Yeah, you know, offensively, those guys get the headlines and the numbers and everything. But with linebackers like that, making stops and keeping the other team off the scoreboard, they deserve some props too.
All right, the pedigree of a GFL, we know how good those football players can turn out, but you're expecting some good athletes on this 6th grade group.
Absolutely. I mean, you just look at what they do. They've come out of the toughest bracket, in my opinion. That South bracket across the board, regardless of grade level, is always the most competitive, in my opinion. They've beaten some very good teams. They've run the ball. They've passed the ball. Their defense has made key stops when they needed it. You know, kind of a bend but don't break type D. But they're great. This GFL team is deep, and I really like them to continue on.
All right, don't pick with your head or your heart who's going to take this one, in your opinion.
If I had to pick, I'm going to go with GFL based on just the amount of athletes they have, based on pedigree, based on everything that comes with the Atlanta area. GFL takes it.
All right, our last quarterfinal matchup in 6th grade, Massachusetts, you had them as your 2 pick. Dallas Metro, your 3 pick in the Midwest. Dallas Metro, they've put a couple of teams, 6th and 7th graders, in the quarterfinals. Fast, athletic, as we've come to expect from teams out of that area in the last few years.
Yeah, Dallas Metro is a team that can score from anywhere on the field anytime they want to, which makes them dangerous. They can throw, they can pass. They have a bunch of good weapons, a lot of speed, just some good old Texas boys who know how to play football.
How impressed are you with this Sergio Snyder, who had 3 touchdowns in their opening victory over Oklahoma?
Besides the name Sergio being pretty suave and cool,
That is cool.
The kid can play some football as well. 3 touchdowns, as you mentioned, over Oklahoma. Just one of the kids who can really tote the rock for that Dallas Metro team, but Sergio has looked impressive thus far.
Nico Gatson causing havoc at the defensive end position.
Yeah, a couple forced fumbles, a lot of sacks, a lot of tackles. You know, at this age, a unblockable defensive end, well, really any age, an unblockable defensive end can really put a wrinkle in the game plan of an opposing offense, and that's what this kid does.
And then coming down from the Chesapeake, you have Massachusetts. James Watkins, they made some plays on special teams that have helped catapult them into these final 8.
Yeah, you know, to be a complete team, you have to get it done in all 3 facets of the game, and that's what Massachusetts has done. Watkins, running the ball in the return game, has looked extremely, extremely good. He's a dangerous weapon for Massachusetts, and he's had a nice tournament, and look for him to continue that.
Scotty Brown with 2 touchdowns in his first game, but I love the name Cole Osanubi running the ball for Massachusetts.
Yeah, Scotty Brown is an athlete that we spoke about in the preview show. A dual threat kid, has ripped up the local Pop Warner scene and is now showing the nation what he could do. And one kid I want to mention as well is Ryan Miller, who is the deep ball threat. He's the quarterback that throws it downfield for Massachusetts. Scotty Brown can, run and throw. Miller is a deep ball threat. Yeah, and Osanubi, very cool name. The coaching staff has been very impressed with him. In fact, you're going to see more and more carries come his way down in Naples just because of what he's proven to the coaching staff and to everybody thus far in the tournament.
This affair promises to be nip and tuck. Dallas Metro, Massachusetts. Who you got?
I got Dallas Metro. A lot of weapons. Mass is a great team, very solid team, but I don't think they have the weapons like Dallas Metro does.
All right. Who wins? Who makes the national championship, and who's your winner in the 6th grade?
It's tough. I think this year has been more competitive than in previous years, but I'm going to pick Seattle meeting Dallas Metro with the boys from the Pacific Northwest bringing home the ship. Finally, they've gotten close, and this 6th grade group, I think, does it.
All right, Pops, I was hoping for some roses in the background to celebrate what's going on in State College, but we'll have to wait. Thanks for your smile, though.
We should be in the playoffs, but that's neither here nor
Oh, yeah, we could get into that debate a little bit later on. All right. Much more coming up, of course, this week on the FBU NC preview shows at FBUNC.com, as we will break down the 7th and 8th grade quarterfinal matchups with Alan Popadines of Youth1.com as well. A look at the 6th grade in depth here today. And of course, we have our championship week opening ceremony coming up in Naples on December 16th. That is Friday, so you'll want to be a part of that as you make your way down to Southwest Florida, the teams that will be playing in the quarterfinals. Of course, the championship games will be live and streamed for you as well. FBUNC.com will have the link. And of course, you can catch up with all the action on the Path to Naples on the FBUNC YouTube page. I want to thank Alan Popadines for joining today. A look at the 6th grade quarterfinals on the Path to Naples. I'm Neil Sika. Have a good one.